Hello, friends of Athena's Palace. Thanks for joining me today. It's March 10th, 2023, and I'm aboard a cruise ship crossing the Atlantic Ocean. Left Miami yesterday, and I'm really enjoying the waters. Going out, I went out this morning and went for a walk around the lap of the cruise ship and saw the rising sun and said prayers for the water, and I'm really enjoying the trip so far. It's very peaceful and people are really nice, and so thanks for joining me while we do another astrology talk, this time about Saturn-Jupiter conjunctions. The Saturn-Jupiter conjunction has been used quite extensively by the ancient astrologers going back for millennia, and it's been considered an indicator of a cycle of 20 years, how society is going to change, and how there's always an indication of something new that's shifting and changing in society with each 20-year cycle. And there's a larger cycle of these conjunctions, which a conjunction is basically when, from the viewpoint of Earth, it looks like Saturn and Jupiter are right next to each other, like they're the same point in the zodiac. So this happens about every 20 years, just over 20 years. It happens, and it triggers this new cycle. So it goes in 240-year cycles for each of the elements of the zodiac. There are 4 elements: air, earth, fire, and water, that represent the zodiac signs, and there's 3 signs for each of these elements. So for the last 240 years before 2020, these conjunctions were in earth signs. So that would be Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. So, every 20 years it would shift to one of these 3 signs. And then after 240 years, it shifts to an air sign, which is Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini. And then it'll shift to water signs for 240 years, which would be Pisces, Scorpio, and Cancer. And then finally it goes back to, then it shifts to fire signs: Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. So it just keeps marching through those 3 signs for the 240 years. And on either side of the 240 years, there's always a transitional period. So in 1981, there was a dipping into air. So there was a Libra conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter. And when that was the year that the internet was born. Very intellectual, airy, wireless, like crazy. The internet, how it's revolutionized our world. It definitely transformed society. We saw the birth of social media, MySpace, all these things happened after that. And then that just was, brings us to the current day and all of the social media we have. So it transformed society over the next 20 years. And then we had one final conjunction in Earth, and in, I think, 2021 or 2001, 2002. And then we reached 2020, and we had the first conjunction in air, or actually the second, because we had that brief one in Libra. But now the conjunctions will be in air for the next 200 years. So the 240-year cycle, there's always one at the beginning and one at the end that overlaps with the next cycle. So at the end of this and another 200 years, there'll be a conjunction in water, and then there'll be one last conjunction in air. And it's kind of like a transitional thing. So now that we're in air, you know, for the rest of our lives, Jupiter and Saturn will be meeting in an air sign for the next 200 years. So this bigger cycle of 240 years, you know, times 4 elements, we're talking over 1,000 years for each point in the zodiac to get touched by this Saturn-Jupiter conjunction, to feel the energies of that, what that represents, that point. So the point at which Saturn met Jupiter in Aquarius on December 21st, 2020 was 0 degrees Aquarius and a few minutes. It's called minutes, and I'm sorry I don't have the exact amount, but it was 0 in so many minutes. It wasn't even 1 degree yet. So it'll march through Aquarius as it goes, you know, over the 200-year cycle, and it'll rotate through Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, and it'll just keep doing that for another 200 years. So 0 degree Aquarius is a really important degree, and any 0 degree point is very powerful for initiating new things. And I would like to paraphrase the words of one of my favorite astrologers. Her name is Tara Nikita, and she did a video on Pluto going into Aquarius, because Pluto is going to cross that 0 degree point pretty soon on March 23rd of 2023. So it's going to reactivate that Saturn-Jupiter point where they joined in 2020, and you know at that time in December, we were just getting a vaccine for the pandemic. We were actually going on the attack of the pandemic, an airborne virus, and we had a plan, and we were going to beat this thing. And you know, creating that vaccine so quickly was just marvelous, and it helped so many people to stay on this earth, and that was a huge accomplishment for humanity to do that and fight that. And I know a lot of people lost people they love from COVID, and my sympathies to those that did. And I almost lost my life to COVID, but Spirit had work for me to do. So I fought back, and after 8 weeks in the hospital, I was able to emerge, and it's been 1.5 years, and I'm gaining my strength, and thrilled that I was able to walk half a mile this morning on the deck here and see the rising sun. So I want to read these words that I paraphrase from Tara Nikita, because I think they sum up the cycle that's beginning. It's being activated on March 23rd, and you know, we've got 20 years of Pluto and Aquarius to bring this into being, this energy. A world of peace and unity, to value humanity, support the flowering of awareness in a positive way that encourages empowerment. Pluto is empowerment, and cooperative association, unfolding our human potential, to really know what it means to be human, what truly preserves human freedom. Aquarius, okay? Advancing our consciousness, Aquarius, based on enduring values, the natural law from Creator. Okay, this is a quote. Natural laws from the Creator, God Himself, at the beginning of the creation of life, end quote, by Bobby C. Billy. Individual freedom and sovereignty with discernment Aquarius is about discernment too. To navigate these years of Pluto and Aquarius, an awakening of the human spirit that does not consent to authoritarian control, that seeks to undermine an individual's sovereignty. Paraphrasing, these words were paraphrased from the words of Tara Nikita, an astrologer in touch with collective consciousness, and merging her thoughts with the quoted words of Bobby C. Billy to create a credo for this new 20-year cycle of Pluto and Aquarius, and the new 1,000, more than 1,000-year cycle of the conjunction at 0 degrees Aquarius, that conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn. And this new cycle, this new 1,000, over 1,000 year cycle is going to, together, we're going to create a new consciousness of healing of the earth's water, and also the healing of the trauma generated by the enslavement of people around the world since 1100, the year 1100, and the healing of the DNA of those descendants of those traumas, and the healing of those that inflicted, the descendants of those that inflicted the traumas, the forgiveness and the healing of those people's DNA. So a consciousness of unity where we're coming together with a prayer, and we're putting our intention into the waters of the earth, which make up 80% of our earth surface, and also the waters within us, which make up 80% of our body, and all water. Much gratitude and love to carry this consciousness of a new age and the healing energies needed to revolutionize the collective consciousness. And together we can do that one by one. Thank you so much for listening, and I appreciate you all, and I love you. Bye-bye.